Yo, what's up? It's me, Mr. PRIME, coming at you guys with a reaction to the Disney Brain, and this is top 10 best read Power Rangers. Now, I've been supposed to do this, but stuff happens. But I'm doing it now. Knowing what I know about the Disney Brain, I think his number one will be. Now, I wouldn't say a surprising one, but it'll be like it will be one of the ones that not many people will say. Like, it's not gonna be like a Jason, or you understand what I might mean when you continue watching this. But this is 24 minutes, almost like an episode of Power Rangers. So get your snacks, get your drinks, get all that, get set. I'll wait. All right. So, as you can see, I got my Team Tyranno hat on. Actually, got this from Steve Cardenas, but that's not the story. Let's get into this right now. Connor, okay. I can see that.
Connor is kind of a funny way to start off this list, as he perfectly represents the notion that things can always change as time marches on. When I originally discussed him in my Dino Thunder video, I directly stated that calling him a top 10 red would be a stretch. Yet,
here you are. Yep. Number 9. Jack? Maybe.
Jack serves as yet another good example of a very noticeably flawed person being given the keys to massive power and doing well to prove himself with it. And there's a lot of dynamics the show plays around with to create this arc for him.
Actually, Jack, they kind of had the same thing as Connor in a sense, but Jack didn't learn anything from it because he went right back to the streets.
But nowhere are the character dynamics greater than with Sky himself. Almost half the season, if not more, is dedicated to the push and pull between these two.
These two remind me of
great characters as a result. All Kai by Jack donating his morpher
Leo.
Just so Sky can relish in a poetic victory.
His name is Leo, is it?
That's what great leadership looks like. And I'll always appreciate the fact that his growth led him not towards becoming a commander, but towards making his own choice about a life beyond SP.
I'm assuming it's Leo.
Choice more than earned.
Okay. Jason Lee Scott. I told you, Jason is good, but
what oftentimes gets lost in the overall saga of the Mighty Morphin days is just how great a precedent they set for good characters. We all praise how great Adam, and especially Billy, were. But let's not forget that this franchise kicked off with a pretty great leader too. He didn't get the same type of development or arcs that a lot of his fellow Reds got, but the things we learned about him in just one...
Cole. I don't know about Cole. I don't know about him being that high.
Cole is one of the Rangers most ideally. He saw firsthand that orcs didn't have hearts, but he kept fighting to save the world. He learned what the former Dr. Adler did to his parents, and yet he still refused to lose himself in a bid for revenge. That level of willpower is one of the most inspiring things to ever happen in this franchise. It's easy to see how his teammates respond to that as well. Even Taylor.
Scott. Okay. Now listen. I can
way
understand
too
this.
Loud, way too stubborn, and commanding by rank and not respect. Scott Truman started off his journey as one of the worst characters in Power Rangers. He might actually have had a higher mountain to climb than even Sky did. But with both characters, you see the difference between them and someone like Nick Russell. And it's as simple as being able to...
Andros number 5. Okay. We'll see.
Kicking off the top 5 is the Ranger who both ushered in
and one
of
the Power Rangers guy would be happy that Andros is
storytelling.
But
what's really captured Leo Corbett is the man who both started and perfecly embodies my often-mentioned idea.
No one ever really see him as being having leadership qualities.
Make the most of the hand they've been dealt, regardless. There are few Rangers as charming and charismatic as this one, and few Rangers still that come with such a well-thought-out character journey from beginning to end. And it all springs from Leo struggling with being worth his brother's sacrifice. That's
he was kind of like a
sob
the whole time.
Being a better ranger and a more capable leader.
My brother
doesn't get to just enjoy his merry little voyage to the stars anymore. And that made Destined for Greatness such a great episode to that end.
So
Mike is back
I'm
now,
here.
and technically,
and when his brother came back, he was like, "Here,
originally
you have
his.
it. Here,
despite
take it."
everything
So,
Leo had accomplished before this,
I don't know.
Despite
Casey, didn't like Kai, and I didn't like
Every character matters. Every
Sierra
character has their
Vincent's
place.
character.
Every one feels a little bit or a lot of bit matured from where they started. But I'm here to tell you that a legitimate case can be made to call Casey Rhodes the greatest to ever do it. He's just that good. Quickly getting back to the Little Ranger narrative that I will never get tired of, brings us the season-long character arc of the Cub turned Tiger
about Casey
Master.
Rhodes, he putting him over
it's
like this.
It's amazing that it took this long in a franchise about fighting to make fighting this pertinent to character growth. But here we are. You'd be hard-pressed to find 2 episodes in a row where Casey isn't advancing in some large or small way. Every time a new challenge comes up, he needs to prove to himself and to his cohorts that the faith Master Mao had in him wasn't misplaced. And just like most great Reds, his development brought out the best in several of the people around him.
Old at the same time.
Theo became a better character because he ends up seeing some of himself in Casey, thanks to Lily. And RJ is able to come to terms with his own complicated past because he also sees some of himself in Casey and cherishes that mentor-student relationship a little bit above his others. That and the team can kick ass a lot more effectively when he's not falling behind. And it's all because he had the right teachers, the right support system, the right team. He went so far because of them. But then, it all stops when he fails his master's test. But the cherry on top of a character so well realized is, once more, his relationship with the main villain. Daishi's growing power is also highlighted as a point of contrast to Casey, and that made saving Jared, while also going against everyone else's wishes, the perfect final test. Because it was in that moment, and really only that moment, that he couldn't rely on the people that pushed him so far. He could only rely on how far he could push himself. They could not have written a better culmination of everything that happened in this story than this face-off. Then, and only then, does Casey get to ascend to Master. Casey is the type of character you get when the season is well thought out steps and not loosely connected parts. And despite that, Jungle Fury still doesn't quite get the praise it very much deserves. So, let's take a minute and appreciate Casey Rhodes, because we may never see a Ranger this tightly written for ever again.
We literally taking him. Carter Grayson.
The number 2, next to the embodiment
Carter
of
Grayson is
heroism,
the embodiment of a Red Ranger, in my opinion.
Even as I record this, it still feels a little strange. I'll explain my stance further when we get to the now obvious number 1 choice, but for now, let's not let that take away from the Ranger I consider a personal inspiration. And it all comes down to Lightspeed Rescue's nuanced take on the concept of heroism, and how they convey that through a man whose personality is humble, but accomplishments are, quite frankly, mythic. That matters a lot, because despite his ability to pull off literally any heroic deed asked of him out of an unbreakable sense of righteousness, he's probably the most human, the most relatable of anyone on his team. And his team responds to that.
I don't know.
Even
I kind of like Joel.
Is
Joel
a far more level-headed Ranger over time because of Carter's gentle influence. He never had to bark orders. He never had to demand respect.
He didn't.
You interact with this man for 5 minutes, and you'd willingly run through walls for him. And a lot of that also comes from his tireless work ethic. In a way, Carter is all of us, looking up to and trying to match his hero, same as the heroes we all have, fictional or otherwise. And it's through his hard work and desire to become what he sees in Captain Mitchell that he starts off the show already most of the way there. And once he does slap on the morpher, that narrative doesn't change. Always working, always pushing himself, and when duty calls, no matter what time the phone rings, he's always there to answer it with boundless resolve. Carter didn't have the powerful character arcs or pronounced hero's journeys that the Reds surrounding him did, but he never needed it, because he represents something just as notable, an ideal to strive for, an example for others to follow. It's not just the fact that he didn't hesitate when monsters were on the loose. It's not just the fact that he sacrificed himself Lord knows how many times without a second thought. It's not just the fact that when the day was saved, he still rushed back into action without a morpher. It's all of that, through the idea that he always sees himself as just another guy, trying to do the right thing, and never as this larger-than-life figure people like me see him as. And that detail counts for a lot to me. But there is one Ranger that, by the slimmest of margins, did it as great as you can do it wearing this particular color. But before we get to him, let's bring in some honorable mentions.
Okay. Understandable. TJ. I like TJ's red, but I don't know. Brandon. I don't know about that one. Wes, number 1, of course.
Wesley Collins.
Yeah, man.
Let me put it this way. Jen may very well be the best Pink Ranger ever, but damn near everything that works and works well about Time Force traces back to Wes. Once again, we find ourselves back to the narrative of a Red Ranger forced to go into a role he never really asked for, but has anyways. But I think because of how Wes's dynamics with other characters are presented and developed, the concept might be at its peak here. He doesn't just embody the grander narrative about how destiny truly is a very adjustable concept, and where you end up really depends on who you decide to be, what internal changes you decide to make. His progress forces every noteworthy character to see that concept for themselves. We see Jen slowly becoming more personable, while also still being harsh by necessity to get the best out of Wes. They're both allowed to be right and wrong, as the Jen-led team steadily becomes a more co-captain team over time. Hell, even Alex gets to learn this lesson when he comes to town and recognizes just how different his old team is, and just how much they need the Red they already had. We see Mr. Collins rethink his own values in conjunction with his son's hero work. The man doesn't back down to, of all people, Rancid.
Yeah, that's kind of
no
stupid.
qualms about killing people, and all to make a powerful statement about just how much Wes does
up in the hospital,
and how impactful his decision to move out really was. And Eric, he already changed his destiny. He's living proof of Time Force's defining message the second we understand his backstory. But for all his stubbornness, even he eventually recognizes that yes, they actually do have a lot in common. That's not just Eric waking up one day and realizing how much of a dick he's been acting like. Their resolution, their friendship, was literally years in the making, and their reconciling.
Even when everybody was gone, he barely wanted to give him the
and probably
he barely wanted to give him no other morpher.
Who is mostly an observer slash little brother for Wes, gets to see his initial faith in Wes justified, which only serves to make him a much more useful character down the line, helping Nadira to, you guessed it, change her destiny. All of these patiently progressed, well-developed character arcs are made possible because Wes recognized that he was wrong, and worked every day after the fact to prove that he could fight for more than just himself. But he didn't stop there.
Right.
He then realized how misled his father has been before taking a chance and betting everything on being a hero. And on top of this hefty, full-page long without spaces resume of his, he's just a joy to watch. His personality jumps off the screen in damn near every scene, and his chemistry with all of the characters I mentioned still stands as some of the most believable dynamics in the franchise. The romance isn't even super important in the grand scheme of things, but even that is done better than literally any other Ranger relationship. And that's what it really comes down to. Chemistry. Everything just works when Wes is involved. Not by magic or dumb luck or by being stupidly overpowered, but because his genuine nature pulls people in. I mean, he lived in the lap of luxury for years, but still wanted to be friends with Eric back then, and never bitches about doing odd jobs now. That's just class. Wes is simply everything you could want in a Ranger and then some, and it's in that little bit extra that creates the slightest of separations between him and my personal favorite Red in Carter. His impact helped make the characters around him all-time greats too, And the
Carter's
same
like a definition
really
of a Red
for the
Ranger.
Lightspeed
Like
Rescue
a
supporting cast,
dictionary
who
definition.
are more carried by Carter than carried forward as people. And for me, that makes Wes Collins the greatest Red Ranger of all time. But, as always, share your own thoughts down below on who you think are the best Rangers in Red. It's kind of nice to finally have given my thoughts on every Ranger color, but I am considering updating my old Green and Black Ranger video because I'm not fully satisfied with how that one came out compared to my more recent top 10s. And, if you want to talk more about this list, or anything in particular, join my very lively Discord channel where I spend way too much of my time. And as always, thanks for watching.
One thing I gotta say with his videos, it's like no matter what he said, he'll be in the middle of talking, he'll be like, and yeah, that'll be kind of like a wrap up, and that's all. Thanks for watching. No, seriously. Carter for me is number one. Carter number one. Like I said, he's a dictionary. Wes is probably number two. Then it's Andros. Then Jason. I don't know, put at number 5. A lot of people in mind, but yeah, it's a good list. Actually, Disney Brand, I might have to send you an open invite to my podcast. Just saying. Whenever you want, let me know. You can message me, whatever. Links down in the description. Let me know if that's a thing you do. I don't know. Some people don't do that, so just let me know. But good list. Watch this other list, other videos. It's all good, all detailed to the 10s and 9s and 10s and 20s and 30s and 40s, whatever you want to use for that word. But yeah, like, he knows his stuff. He did the last video I saw of his was his, I don't even remember. I think it was Good Burger. Maybe not Good Burger, all that. Yeah, so it's been like a couple weeks since I saw something, but I asked him, can I react to it? He said, go ahead. So, you know, hopefully I'll get some of his feedbacks. And we'll see what happens with the podcast thing. Like I said, prime time is all the time.
Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
Push the goddamn button.
Push the goddamn button.
You heard what she said.